Alrighty then. Trying to get out of here and go home, but no one wants to let me go home. I had to leave at 3:30 just to be able to actually leave the building at 4. And, oh boy, here we go. I keep texting me. I can't print, and maybe you can help me look at it. Maybe I'm looking at it wrong. I know that you guys are moving chunk card over to part X. Is it officially all the way moved over, or am I still ordering it? Okay, those are easy questions to answer. At least her questions are easy to answer. So, it's like, whew, y'all just need to leave me alone. I want to go home. I want to kick my feet up, play my video games, maybe talk to some people. Maybe not, I don't know. But, can't do that because everybody wants to keep me here at work. Sorry, y'all. I'm out. I've done more than enough time today. And anything else that they're wanting out of me, we'll just have to wait till Monday. Because that's how this works. And so, yeah. Don't let them get the best of you. Make sure that you stand up for you. Uh-oh. My phone be doing its thing. Also, I didn't think that auditing serial numbers was on yours. Oh boy. I was hoping that I wasn't going to have to call this person, but it's seeming to me like I'm going to have to call it, because that just seems odd to me. It amazes me you can hand these people things and they just don't read them. Maybe I made a mistake and I left something on there that wasn't supposed to be on there, but I don't remember putting that particular thing on there. And that's what's the problem, is like, people present these goals as my goals instead of their goals. And it's like, y'all need to own these goals, not me. Like, I have a standard set for my team, sure, but these standards are your working goals. We're trying to clarify expectations here. But at any rate, I hate getting caught in the middle of this line here. But that's what you get for turning so early, I guess. Once the arrow changes, then I can turn and I won't be in everybody's way anymore. But that's one thing about these microphones, though. They're so good that if I take a phone call on this mic, when I turn it up, you can hear the other person on the other end. So I have to mute my conversations now. It was cute when it was just one-sided, but now that it's now that you can hear the whole thing, it's like, don't know if that's a good idea or not. So if I ever get a phone call, I'm gonna have to figure that out. But at any rate, I will probably just call this person when I get home. Are they still texting me? No, that's fine. But yeah, what a week it has been. Not entirely good, not entirely bad, just it's been a week. And trying to figure out, oh boy, what that looks like, what that means, what that does. And being constantly on the verge of breaking at work. Is it not like breaking in a mental or physical way, just breaking as in, like, I feel like I'm just barely staying afloat, which is wild to think about, because at one point in time, I was it. I was the be-all, end-all of anything in this department. And it's wild that now here I am, and I have support. Sorry, I'm putting on chapstick. I probably made some ugly faces there, but my lips are dry as can be. Now I have support, but I still feel like I'm pale in water, like, I can't. And I hate to be that way because, like, my staff are that way. And that's, like, the game that you play as a leader is, like, nobody wants to work harder than they feel like they should. And as a leader, there's a certain amount of productivity you got to get out of these people. And so it's like, where do you land there in productivity versus not productivity, I guess. I don't know. It's been one heck of a week, which I feel like I've already said that, but that's okay. Started watching The Good Doctor, and I don't know if I've talked about that at all on here or not, but it has been one heck of a series so far, and I'm only 7 episodes in, and like, all the characters are complex, interesting characters. They're flawed. There's nobody in there who's perfect and does everything correct. And there's also just a lot of interesting relations and things in that show that I really do enjoy. It's been going on for 7 seasons. Well, no, I think it's been going on for 6 seasons, and I think the 7th season is going to be the last season. And it's interesting for me because I'm just now getting into it, as it's just now coming to an end, and trying to figure out I don't know, like, every series or TV series I feel like that I watch has a point of death, if you will, and it's usually well before its actual end. Like, every show that I've experienced has died in my mind before the show has ended. I can't think of one where, like, I was enthralled all the way up to the end. And so what it makes me wonder is, like, at what point in time will this show die? And it's an unfortunate thing to look at when I'm just now starting a show and I'm super excited about it. I love the characters, I love the scenes, I love everything going on in it. But I'm still sitting here wondering, like, when will this ride stop, if you will? And so that's what I've been doing. I've been observing, and that's the interesting thing, is, like, I observe TV shows and, like, movies and stuff more so as an inspiration for my writing than I do other people's writing. And there's a lot of controversial opinions about that. They're like, if you're not reading, then how can you be writing, if that makes any sense at all? And I think in the modern world, like, most everything starts in a written format, but that doesn't mean that you can't be inspired, because watching a movie is like reading without the words, if you will. Like, someone still wrote all the content that you're experiencing. The actors and the sets and the camera angles and stuff are just doing a good work of the load for you. It takes the workload off of your imagination. And for me, it's not that I don't like reading. Like, I enjoy reading, but reading takes longer for me than, like, watching a show does. Like, I feel like I can read a chapter in the same amount of time, if not longer, than most episodes of a TV show. Maybe that's a bit of a stretch, but at any rate, I don't know, it just feels more conducive to that level of stuff than anyway, I keep getting distracted with work. People are texting and emailing me, and it's just like, leave me alone, please, I'm done. I just want to have a weekend. But no, I feel like, especially for dialogue, like, this show does dialogue wonderfully. And that's the interesting thing about being a writer and being a story creator, is I can appreciate stories on a different level now. And so it's like, we went to a vacation home in Florida, and they had an indoor pool. And my brother, who does construction for a living and is very passionate about what he does, was fascinated about how they had this pool fluctuating its temperature, or whatever it was doing. and like we were out on the back porch, and he was totally doing his thing and nerding out about it and telling me all about it. And like, that is cool that people can have that level of passion about things. And like, it's because it's something that you're passionate about that you analyze it in a way that's different from everyone else. I compare Hyundai's I thought I had my badge on, so I just covered my mic. Anyway, I compare Hyundai's like passions, if you will, like his construction and my writing. I compare those frequently, and it's interesting how two very different forms of expression, if you will, can be compared in that way. Like, he goes to a house with a pool and looks at how it was built. I watch a movie and observe how it was written. And so it's just interesting how everything can be broken down into a much more detailed approach if you're a member of the community who is seeing it from that angle or dealing with it from that angle, if that makes sense. Like, watching Scent of a Woman, for example. Scent of a Woman was a great movie. I really enjoyed it. It was not heavy on the plot. It was pure character development, really. It was a character-driven story, and it focused on the relation between these two characters and how they affected each other and how they helped each other to become better people because of the relationships that they had and the relationships that they formed. And like, from the outside looking in, people might be like, "Ugh, this movie has a horrendous plot. Like, why does the whole world like it?" But there is absolutely something to be said about a strong character-driven story. And more often than not, you can work one way and not the other. And what I mean by that is you can work with a strong character-driven story and a weak plot more than you can work with a strong plot, weak characters. People are more prone to care about other people than they are to care about the circumstances that surround them. And if you think about it, knowing the person is oftentimes what causes you to care about the circumstances that surround them in the first place. Like, these bums that we see begging for money or whatever, we don't know them, and realistically speaking, we don't know their situation either, but we know their situation better than we know them. And I would say a larger population of people don't care that much for the homeless as much as they care for like their best friend if they became homeless. And the wild thing is like, I feel like said best friend can become homeless for the same reasons or similar reasons as some random bum on the street, and you're going to care about it more because it's closer to you. And that's why these character-driven stories succeed better than plot-driven stories. Now, obviously, like most people are going to say, if you have a strong plot with strong characters, like then you're looking at a piece of gold right there. But if you're going to have one and not the other, you better have strong characters and a lesser developed plot. Because at the end of the day, you go back and you remember the characters that you experienced, and the plot is secondary. But that is just an interesting observation that one makes when they're in the business of storytelling, and you can see and you can observe and you can respect these things. And that is one thing. I haven't watched very many medical shows. The Good Doctor is the first one that I've watched and like taken very seriously. But of the shows that I've seen, my issue is, and I'm sure they do this on purpose, but my issue is, like, you get hooked on certain scenes or certain characters from certain episodes, and you want to see more of that character, if that makes sense. Like, they bring in pretty much a new patient or a new set of patients every episode, and we get hooked on this patient, and then boom, next episode hits and you've got a whole brand new set of patients. And like, in a way, it's realistic. Like, most surgeons probably aren't seeing too many repeated patients over and over again. Maybe they are. Maybe I'm blind to it in that regard. I'm close to that. I'm close to that realm, but not so close that I still feel comfortable talking about it as though I'm an expert, if that makes sense. And I think that's another reason why I really enjoy the show, is because it helps me to understand the complexities of the environment that I work without just blindly asking people that I work for. And I'm not shy about asking questions. Like, I am not an idiot by any means, and anyone who thinks I'm an idiot because I'm asking a question is in fact an idiot. But I'm not shy to ask questions like, what does this mean? When you say this, what does that mean? What does that entail? What does? And eventually, like, I will learn. And I've learned a lot in my time with my job so far. And the new position that I have taken is different enough from what I was doing that I feel like I'm learning all over again. And that's honestly very refreshing. And so it's just an interesting kind of situation to be in. I don't know what will eventually happen or if anything will eventually happen, but I'm at least very happy with where I am, and don't know how this conversation wound up there because I was supposed to be talking about The Good Doctor. But at any rate, I've only got 7 episodes in on the first season. And that's the other thing, is I slow burn my TV shows very meticulously. I'll, like, One Piece, for example. I've been watching One Piece. There's so many episodes of that I will just rip through it and not even care. But, like, for these shows where it's like, okay, you've got 7 seasons, let's make it worth your while, I limit myself to how many episodes I watch a day, and I really try and control what I'm doing. And I just now realized that I was supposed to have gone to the store and bought some stuff for when I have company over tomorrow, and I totally didn't. So I will probably have to leave tomorrow morning and go get all the party favors, but I guess that's fine. I'll just have to deal with that tomorrow. I can probably get most of it from the local place. Like, the local place doesn't have all the fancy drinks, and, well, I don't like drink alcohol or anything. All the fancy sodas and stuff that I like to get. I like to be fancy and be a good host, and so I will do so, but I'll have to go out tomorrow and get it. And I'll just dedicate today to cleaning the house and make sure the house is completely clean so that I can go out tomorrow, pick up what I need to pick up, and then be ready for a good time tomorrow afternoon. So, but yeah, slow burn TV shows, because it's amazing to me that, like, it realistically took 7 years to get 7 seasons out of this show. And so it's like, how then is it that I can watch that in less than a year? And it's like, it goes back to something I say, the time of, time of conception is longer than the time of consumption. And it applies to so many different things. Like, I use it a lot with, like, money. Like, the time it takes to gain a lot of money is much faster than the time it takes to spend a lot of money. The time of conception is longer than the time of consumption. I can't even remember my own phrase at this point. The time of conception is longer than the time of consumption. Maybe it's not that catchy if I can't even remember how to say it. But at any rate, it's still true. Catchy or not, it's still true. And so it's like, yeah, it took us 7 years to make 7 seasons worth of a TV show. That might, let's see, if there's 13 episodes in a season, and we're going to say each episode is 30 minutes long, that means you'll get to an hour. You'll have, let's see, half of 12 is 6. So it would be 6.5 hours, basically, is what one season gets you. And so if you multiply that by 7 seasons, 6 times 7 is 35, and then you do the halves to get however much that adds up to be. What would that be? 1, 2, 3. So, what did I say? 35, 36, 37, 38. So, was that 38 hours then? So, yeah, basically 38, 40 hours of content out of 7 years worth of production. And that is mad that I can tear through 7 years of production that quickly. And so I do my darndest to respect the material and not do that. And so, yeah, that's all I got for you guys today. Make it a wonderful weekend. I'll see you when I see you.